Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am the show pony himself, David Rodgers, alongside Mitchell Gunner, who is working the back there, and the Byron Bagwell. Great to have you along. Sponsored by On the Spot Lawn Care. Let the red, white, and blue take care of your green. Call 904-966-1633. And by the Fantastic Fire Brigade, you can have a real fire truck come to your next event, or let our Jambulance rock your party. Call 904-701-FIRE, Byron, or visit fantasticfire.com. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Please bow your heads. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we can come together with our brotherhood here, dear Lord, to bring this show to our viewers and to everybody that needs to listen, dear Lord. And as whatever information that we have to give, dear Lord, take it in our viewers' hearts and let them decide what they need to do with it. Thank you for the greatest country in the world today, dear Lord, the United States of America. Thank you for our armed forces, each and every one of those men and women that are serving today and that served in the past and has given the ultimate sacrifice for this country. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women that do it each and every day that keep us safe from our internal enemies, dear Lord, and external enemies. And we go to sleep at night, lay our head down to rest and not have to worry about a thing. Thank you for our farmers and our truck drivers and everybody that's on the front lines of America, dear Lord, to just keep them safe, keep them moving, dear Lord. Keep a hedge of protection over them as they go out and do their job each and every day. And let's help rebuild America again like it was, dear Lord. The strong nation, the freest nation in the whole world today. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day. It goes in the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, you touch each and every one of them. You know their wants and their needs, dear Lord. You're the ultimate comforter. Please touch each and every one of them. Again, thank you for this time, dear Lord. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the great rest of the week we're going to have. And we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, and the congregation says, Amen. Let us stand for our pledge. I'm going to ask Mr. Michael Heater if he'd lead us, please.
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the show On the Spot with David Rodgers. Getting started just a little bit later than we wanted to. We have several things that we were out doing. I'm going to let Michael Heater talk about that here in just a couple of minutes. But I am David Rodgers. I'm your host here, along with my co-host and the new color commentator for the Bradford Tornadoes, the Byron Bagwell. To my left, off the camera, just for a moment, is our director, our weather guru, and our informationalist. Here he is, Mr. Michael Heater. Hey, wave there, Michael. There you go. You want to give the sign real quick to that lovely lady that we know? Yeah, okay. And off in the corner over here, sitting in for Mr. Dave Holland, is Mr. Mitchell Gunner. He is filling in for Dave Holland. If you're going, whoa, where's all the stuff, the V-Mix stuff and all this? Well, Mr. Dave Holland, I love you, but I got to throw you under the bus just for a second. You've got to leave the equipment, and that's okay because you was in a hurry to go be with your family, and I don't blame you. So Mitchell stepped in with his On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers StreamYard, and man, does it look good, Byron.
Yes, it does.
Mitchell, let's give Mitchell a round of applause. Hey, man, he's hooked it right up. And tonight we have a special guest, Byron, Michael, and Mitchell. He is our very own, our new coach, Jamie Rodgers. He will be in studio with us here in just a few minutes, talking about something that we're excited about.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
I can't wait either. Oh, man, tornado football. He gets to live it. He gets to live it each and every day. Hey, we get to do it on Friday nights, but the coach is going to tell us, hey, how the team looks, what he thinks. Going to go over the schedule a little bit, talk about the Tornado Touchdown Club, just some things. And if somebody's got some questions, Mitchell, hey, they can ask them right there, and we'll be able to, hey, throw them up right there and get them answered for you. Hey, do you have a patriotic quote of the night?
I sure do.
Good, let's hear it.
I sure do. All right. Without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no such thing as public liberty without freedom of speech.
Founding father? You don't want to give that?
Yeah, it's a founding father.
Is it? All right, Michael. I'm going Thomas Jefferson. Don't say if I'm right or wrong. Let's see if somebody else.
I had a choice.
Uh-huh.
I had it the right who I thought would be the perfect one when talked about freedom of speech.
Uh-huh.
But Walter Cronkite was not a founding father.
No.
So as a result of that, as much as I like your answer, I'm going to go Ben Franklin.
You're going to go Ben Franklin. TJ, Ben Franklin. What you got, Mitch? He's going with that one of the Adams, I think. No.
Give me Thomas Paine.
Thomas Paine, all right. Let me ask something. Is one of us right here?
Yes. But I think the one of us is right. I actually saw the face. Saw the quote.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. I seen you smile when I said it, though. I seen you smile when I said it. All right. Thomas Jefferson.
No.
Oh.
It is Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, goodness. Michael's got one up on me now. All right. Good job. That's a great quote, by the way.
It's very good.
All right. Hey, don't go anywhere because, Mitchell, here comes the round table right after this commercial break. This is the all-new round table. We go around and reaching around the table with the latest news and notes. Brought to you by Harry Business, who's not even here in the Deerfoot Plaza, home with a $10 haircut. Call Dave and company at 904-964-3338. And by who else, Mitchell? Miracle Automotive and Towing. How about that? Hey, don't pray for a miracle. Call Miracle.com. Who else, Mitchell? 904-368-1140. Oh, look at there. The Fantastic Fire Brigade. Hey, if you need a party, anything done, that's Mr. Michael Heater's deal right there. He was out there on Flag Day. He'll be talking about that here in just a few minutes. Fantastic Fire Brigade for your parties. How about that? And who else, Mitchell? Oh, Mitchell Gunner Racing. Look at that car right there. Runs that thing down over there at Gainesville Raceway. Hey, also on the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers, which you will be hosting tomorrow night. Hey, look at here. Beautiful car. Got the host of On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. There he is, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. And who else, Mitchell? Oh, okay, that'll be it for now. Oh, wait a minute. Splash Bash.
Oh, yeah.
Michael, real quick, talk about it.
Hey, coming up on Sunday night, July 3rd, kicking off at 4 p.m., the inaugural Stark Splash Bash will be coming to David Hurst Stadium. We're looking for a golf cart parade to kick things off at 4 p.m. From 5 until 9 p.m., we will have water slides, food trucks, concession stands, a cornhole tournament that kicks off at 6 p.m., single elimination with gold, silver, and bronze medals being awarded for the golf cart parade, and a pair of gold medals for the winning golf cart that has the most patriotic theme, a $100 gift card for first place, $50 gift card for second, and $25 for third place. All that culminating with a fantastic fireworks display shooting off at 9 p.m. that will be preceded by an amazing series of musical performances featuring our own Byron Bagwell. We'll have Leanne Purvis from Jacksonville who will be coming in as well. And, of course, Jalen Jackson, one of our local celebrities as well. All of them performing a great series of patriotic and country music. All that coming to you live Sunday night, July 3rd, starting at 4 p.m. at David Hurst Stadium. Stark Splash Bash. Make plans. You don't want to miss it. You
definitely don't. Also, hey, don't forget, Mitchell Gunner's involved in that. Mitchell Gunner will be in charge of the cruise in.
Mitchell, talk about that.
Yeah, Michael is going to be like the overall seer. I'm going to be in charge of entertainment. And we got several people that we will announce as we get closer to give them credit to. Want to thank the city of Stark and you, Michael, for putting this event together. It ought to be a good one.
It should be a good one as well. And Mitchell, didn't mention it because I was wanting you to jump in on it. Tell us about this cruise-in because that is attracting just as much, if not more attention as the fireworks would.
Yeah, we're asking cars to start showing up about 5 p.m. that afternoon, and we are planning to have awards for the top 10 cruisers at the Splash Bash. So there is no entry fee.
No.
It's all free. All the cars will be parked on Washington Street. So come on out, bring your ride,
That's it. And
enjoy the fun.
bring your camera as well. We are expecting a large crowd, and it should be a lot of fun. Dare I say, it will be fantastic. There you go.
All right, let's get to the news. Hey, we've been getting Clay County where one person has died and another injured in a boat accident on Black Creek near Lake Asbury earlier today. Initial reports that a boat struck a dock, and the investigation by the Clay County Sheriff's Office is continuing. Over to Marion County, Byron, where one person was killed and another injured from gunshot wounds over the weekend. Ocala police say detectives are working the case that occurred in the 2400 block of Northwest 3rd Street, and anyone with information is asked to contact the Ocala PD. And Michael and Mitchell, you can
Remain anonymous.
The Bradford County School District has announced that students will not be required to wear school uniforms for the 2022-2023 school year. Students will instead be required to follow the same dress code as Bradford High School students. Updates have been posted to the school district's website. The City of Stark and the fantastic Fire Brigade held a successful collection of American flags to be retired this afternoon. Michael Heater right now will tell us just a little bit about that. We've already talked about the Splash Bash. Mike, how did that go out there today?
It went very well. We had 58 flags
Ooh,
that were
58.
turned in to be retired, between those that were delivered to us at the Veterans Memorial Park, as well as those that were collected by Ace Hardware of Stark. Ace Hardware, of course, donated 50 brand new flags. And so everyone that brought a flag to be retired received and took home a brand new American flag in its replacement. We had such a good turnout, and it was such a positive feedback. We're going to be doing it again on Veterans Day.
All right. Well, that sounds really good. And I tell you, there ain't nothing more beautiful than that red, white, and blue, brother. I'm sorry. There ain't nothing more beautiful to me, except our wives. Well, yeah. So a reminder that Clay County District Schools Food and Nutrition Services is offering free breakfast and lunch to anyone 18 years or younger from June 6th through July the 28th, except for July the 4th, which of course is a holiday. Breakfast is served 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and lunch is available between noon and 1 p.m. at Keystone Heights Elementary and McRae Elementary. No application is necessary. And Byron, me and you're having lunch. Me, you, Michael, and Mitchell, we're having lunch over there one day. We're going to go over there on the spot and let's check out the lunch.
We can do that.
We can do that.
We can do that.
Finally, the Bradford County Animal Service is running low on pet food and kitty litter, and anyone who would like to make a donation can drop off their items at the center on Southwest 75th Avenue off State Road 100 or call 904-964-9200 for more information. Now, here is your weather forecast from Austin's Weather Service. Austin couldn't be with us tonight, so filling in for him is our very own Michael Heater. Michael, welcome to the show. Thank you very much.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Hey, the big story is going to be the heat, and we'll talk on that in a minute, but let's take a look at the pollen numbers. If there's any good news in the weather forecast, it's the fact that the pollen numbers are staying in low to medium level. You can see it as we go across the screen. Thursday, Friday, those are your two high numbers at 4.6. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good as we make our way through the heat. At least the pollen isn't as bad as it was before. Speaking of heat, check out these heat indices. We're talking about numbers in the triple digits all over the eastern part of the United States. Take a look at the numbers here. I'm going to refresh the screen. Look here. Chicago at 106 being circled there is the same heat index as Jacksonville circled right there. And just off to the north, Charleston, South Carolina, 109-degree heat index expected for tomorrow. It is going to be a warm one as we make our way through the next few days.
I bet your coach is loving to hear that.
Reason for that, high pressure settling over the area, and it's bringing us just some hot, humid weather. Regionally, you can see when we get into the regional forecast maps, this is what we're talking about. That high pressure system is literally giving us the heat sitting right over top of us. The only advantage we have, Charlotte, North Carolina, while you may have a high of 97 degrees, at least there'll be a little bit of a respite for thunderstorms expected in the afternoon. We'll see a few afternoon thunderstorms making our way through the area here, but not like it was today. Tomorrow, and heading our way into Friday, you can see late storms on the afternoon thing, but Thursday, Friday, partly cloudy skies, highs in the upper 90s, lows in the lower 70s, under some significant heat. That is the latest from Austin's Weather Service. David, we're throwing it back to you.
Man, what a great weather report, man. What a great weather update right there.
Well,
Mitchell sliding it right in.
You said Coach will be happy about that?
Yeah.
And all I could think about was the Junction Boys.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's
Maybe
all-
we'll reference
That's
that.
all I mean. Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant, yeah.
If you don't know the movie, you really need to
watch that.
That's a really good movie.
All right, real quick. Trivia on Wednesday nights over at Fun Point, held by Mr. Michael Heater. He starts at 7 o'clock sharp over there. And I tell you what, he's had some good teams. You've been averaging 6 to 8 over the summer here, pretty close.
Yeah, we've 6 to 8's the average. Last month we had 12 teams. 2 weeks ago we were at 11 teams. It's leveled off at about 8. Last Wednesday night we were at 8 teams. Really good turnout. Once again, numbers were tight. First place, second place, third place, all within 3 or 4 points of each other. It was really good. It's really good. And the questions they're not. It's not a cakewalk. I mean, we do some. We've really challenged them like that.
I've seen some of your stuff. You throw it out there.
And but we've got some really good teams that are coming in there as well. We invite you to join us Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at Fun Point. Come out for the best trivia anywhere on Wednesday nights, and we would love to have you out for Fun Point's trivia.
And then after that, on Thursday night, if you want to do double trivia or couldn't make Michael's trivia on Wednesday night, come out on Thursday night. We start at 7:30. I'm the host there. Byron, we had 8 teams last week as well, didn't we? So was it 7?
I'm not exactly sure.
Sure,
how
I know there was.
We're out there.
We had a good turnout. It was like 7 or 8.
Yes, we did.
And we had a tie for first place.
Yes, we did.
At 135, a tie for first place. Had to give away 2 $40 certificates.
Yeah.
So that's the way you have to do it.
That's it.
And then, of course, second, third place. And then, of course, the appetizers just like you do. But come out either night. Hey, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock over at Fun Point. Thursday night with me at 7:30 at the Downtown Grill. And as always, we have what the answer is, Mike. As you always have a special category with what's the date.
Yep.
We have, and the answer is. And the answer is the easiest 9 points you'll ever get. What does that say, Byron, right up there, Michael?
Flag.
Flag. And in honor of Flag Day, that's exactly what we're going to use. We're going to use flag, Byron. I may give it in all kinds of scenarios.
Oh, there's a bunch of different ways.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, again,
the refs need to keep the flags in their pockets.
pockets. Yeah, it's things like that. Yeah. So, again, make sure you join us on trivia night. How about what's the date? Do we have what's the date? And now everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners. WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM. Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis. Chuck and Mary on vacation. Lynn Vellis filling in.
Right.
We still got our thing on there too, by the way. Our little promos.
Did we get promos in?
So, so she didn't do, but hey, Chuck will do them. They're still there. And the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, Mark Crawford, and of course, Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the date. These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph during the first week. No. The second week of June. In what year? That's all right. Community response following ATV rider's death. Child neglect, drug charges result in June 6 bust. Search on for Southside Elementary leadership. Was that June of 2015, June of 2017, or June of 2019, Byron? Community response following ATV rider's death. I see Mitchell shaking his head. Child neglect, drug charges result in June 6 bust. Search on for Southside Elementary leadership. Was that the second week of June of 2015, 2017, or 2019? I'll read the first one. Michael, you read the second one. Byron, you read the third one. Family and friends of a local ATV enthusiast, William Lamar, raised more than $20,000 in his memory following an accident at Hogwaller in Putnam County. The donations will be used to support his wife and 3 children.
The Bradford County Sheriff's Office Drug Task Force, SWAT team, detectives, and patrol deputies executed a search warrant that resulted in multiple drug and child neglect charges against Clint Reed and 2 others in the home.
The school district began looking for new leadership for Southside Elementary School when contracts for their principal, Ernest Williams, and assistant principal, Stephanie Loper, were not renewed.
Wow. Okay. Community response following ATV rider's death, child neglect, drug charges result in June 6 bus. Search on for Southside Elementary leadership. Was that the second week of June of 2015, 2017, or 2019? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is time to get your answer in. And if you get the right answer, you will be put into a drawing for a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill that we will draw the first week of July during our Splash Bash time right there. We will be drawing that. Michael Heater will come in with the big fire helmet. And, of course, you want to try to win that $25 gift certificate. I want to welcome everybody in. Tonight, Byron, we got a special guest. We got the new head coach of the Bradford Tornado football team coming to join us, Coach Jamie Rodgers. Long history of places he's been, places he's coached, great reputation. And we're going to get a chance to talk to him here in just a few minutes. And I tell you, I am dying to talk to him, especially after that spring game that we seen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
31-14 victory for the Tornadoes.
Right.
Hey, it just goes to show you that, you know what I'm saying, that, hey, we had a good nucleus of players coming back.
Right.
And that nucleus of players, especially the skill players, man, put on one heck of a show, to include a lot of freshmen.
Yes.
So
definitely. And, you know, anytime we can talk about football, we get excited about it. But when we talk about Tornado football, it's special.
It is special. Welcome in Roy Jackson, Melissa Cribbs, Donna S. Souls, John Garner from Pascagoula, Mississippi, one of my classmates from back in the day. Michael Heater's watching.
Hi.
Hey there. Bobby Gibson, living in, one of my old classmates living in Birmingham, Alabama. Brett Dobson's watching. Dwight Allen says, hey, Michael, I didn't get a chance to tell you. Good evening, fellow Patriots. Great to be back. Thank you, Byron Bagwell and David Rodgers, for getting it figured out. Me and Byron had lunch on Saturday afternoon. It was Saturday.
It was Saturday.
Saturday, at lunch. And over at Granny's, we were sitting there and we were like, man, why isn't this working? I'll show you. Me and Byron will have to show you. We have to go to a special page notification on our pages to look at yours as well. You can accidentally block somebody and don't even know it. You could be scrolling a comment or whatever. So it was on our end. We started digging and we found it. And there was another one. Who else was blocked? Not Mary.
No.
It was somebody else, but somebody else was blocked as well.
Okay.
So anyway, so glad you could be back on with us, Dwight. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Hello, Alvy. There you go. Eddie Sigmund's watching. Melissa Cribbs, her son plays on the football team. Good afternoon to you. I have a flag to turn in. Michael, where can I turn it in? Eddie Sigmund says.
Hey, Eddie, appreciate you watching the show tonight. Our flags that we've collected are going to be given to the American Legion Post. However, in the short term, you can drop it off at Brian's Ace Hardware. They are still collecting flags, and they will be presented to the American Legion for proper retirement.
Very good. Billy Rayberg's watching. I hope he's on his meds tonight. All right, here we go. Starting with our guesses. Melissa Cribbs says 2019. Okay. Tammy Testone, 2019. Okay. Eddie Sigmund, 2019. Right. Roy Jackson, 2019. Hello, Jennifer. Just seen you a little bit ago. She says 2019. And the chief of police in Lordy, where I live at, Jerry Feltner is watching. Great to have you all along. I do know that the coach's mom is watching as well. So, yep, I got them all. I think Dwight Allen. Okay, you got some others, don't you? So what's it doing here, Byron? I don't know what the heck this is doing here.
Pull the comments to the side.
Yeah, there we go. So, all right. So go ahead and who do you have there that I didn't hit?
Did we say Billy Rayburn?
We did not say
Billy Rayburn, 2019. Okay. Dwight Allen, 2019. Randy Brooks, 2019.
Yeah.
Melissa Cribbs, 2019. Tammy Tedstone, 2019. Yep. Eddie Sigmund, 2019. Mm-hmm. Roy Jackson, 2019. And Jennifer Dodge Weller, 2019.
Yeah, somehow or another, I just didn't catch there a couple of them there. I don't know who it was. But anyway, all right, this is your last chance to get in. Want to get right straight to it to talk to the coach here in just a couple of minutes. We'll go around the table. Byron, what do you say?
Well, I'm going to say 2019 too.
Are you? Michael Heater, what are you going to say? Nothing. Yep. Mitchell?
It was 2019. I know 100%.
I know it was 2019 too, and one of those things gave it away. I say it's 2019 as well. Dakota Marston said 2019, by the way.
Okay.
So I hope we got everybody in. And the answer is, wait for it, 2019. Man, we got a load of them, Mike. Hope you got everybody's name there. Congratulations. Everybody says 2019. And what gave it away for me, Michael, was the ATV crash. So, yeah, the ATV crash. What gave it away to you, Byron?
The school board.
Yep.
Any elections is what gave it away.
All right. Let's go to a commercial break. Oh, on the spot lawn maintenance. Look at there. That's my lawn maintenance. Full service lawn care for you. Call me at 904-966-1633 and we'll take care of your lawn. Also, don't forget, hey, we've got a couple of other things coming up. You just see the coach joining in right here. Hey, I want to go, Mitchell, if you don't mind, can you go to a reading? Our very own Michael Heater is running for city commissioner, and we have a great little commercial for him right there. Can we do that?
I don't think
we don't have it.
Don't have it tonight.
Don't have it tonight. Okay, I thought I seen it, but okay. That's okay.
I got something else.
Do you? All right. What do you have?
That is just as important.
Okay. Let's see.
I found a picture of Byron in his younger years, and I want to share it with everybody.
All righty.
And maybe he can tell
Whoa!
how to grow.
Good reasons to grow a man butt. Byron, that was you.
Oh, I got a headache.
I got
I get enough for that long hair now.
But you want
But then they want to do this with a man bun thing, and I've never had my hair in a man bun in my life.
But if you want to see something that looks better than that,
yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah.
How about that?
Oh, yeah. Now that's what we're talking about. There we go.
Hey, with friends like this,
yeah.
you don't need enemies.
No, we went from a man bun to a real pretty picture, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Coach Jamie Rodgers, head coach of the Bradford Tornadoes. Coach, welcome in and thank you for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me, David.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Byron. You're welcome.
All right. Well, I want to just start off a little bit for people that don't know you. We got quite a bit of a live audience on right now. For everybody that doesn't know you, give a little bit of background about yourself and how you wound up being here at Bradford County.
Yeah, well, I'm from right down the road, 30 minutes from here. I graduated from Baker County in 1997. Went on to college, played college baseball from 98 to 01. And then went out to the workforce, basically, managed at Walmart Distribution Center there in Baker County for a little bit. And then, one day I went in and had a conversation with my manager and talked about just a passion that I thought that I needed to pursue.
Right.
And it was in education. It was in coaching young people. And I got to be honest, I never thought that I would be in the education system. I didn't. Right. When I was in college, that never even crossed my mind, but it gave me a chance to compete. Right. That's something that competitors are always looking for.
Absolutely.
No matter, a lot of people take up golf and things like that. For me, it was coaching, and from that day forward, I started out as a defense coordinator in Baker County in 06 to 08. And then I traveled the southeastern part of the country a little bit, went out to Panhandle for a year, went to South Georgia, up in Alma, Georgia for a year as defense coordinator. And then I got the opportunity to be the head football coach at Swanee High School over in Live Oak. And it was an unbelievable opportunity. And I'm still to this day very grateful for those guys. Hunter Abercrombie and Ted Roush gave me my first shot to be a head coach. There was a lot of people wanted that job. And for somebody to get the opportunity that never had head coaching experience before was really unheard of.
Right.
And for whatever reason, blessed to get that opportunity. And then, I was able to go back to my alma mater in 2016 to 2018 as the head coach in Baker County, and was able to compete for a state championship in 2017. Mm-hmm. That's I'll never have any regrets of going home for that reason. That was to run out of that tunnel that day in Orlando.
Absolutely.
Was a dream come true for me. And then I had there was some things that happened, and I got the opportunity for whatever reason. A longtime friend called me one day when I was in my office and said, there's a head coaching job coming open in Cook, Georgia. And he said, I don't know. He's since passed on. Buddy Nobles was the head coach up in that's who it was. And he called me out of the blue. And he and I probably hadn't talked in 3 or 4 or 5 years at least.
Right.
And he said, I don't know why, but you're the man for the job. And that's what he said. And, I didn't think much about it. And then a couple of weeks went by, some phone calls happened, and and I got that opportunity, and it was something that I always cherish. But it was time for me to come home, this time. And I lived my dream as being a head coach in South Georgia. That's a lot of people in our business. That's what they strive to do,
right?
To get there. And is it the money? Sure, it's the money. It is more money. There's no question about it up there. But it's also to see if it works at the highest level of high school sports. South Georgia is as good as it gets,
right,
in this profession. So, but it was time to come home. There was a lot of things that led to that, and for me, it was the right situation at the perfect time and the perfect place. So,
right,
that's how I ended up here.
And that's exactly right. And I know some phone calls were made there. Yeah. And you threw up several names there. One that I got to know really well, and that was Buddy Nobles.
Yes.
Great guy over at Union County.
Yeah.
I tell you, he did some great things over at Union County. You were talking about other coaches. The Pruitts had went up to
Yes.
Georgia.
Yep.
There's a lot of coaches from this area that has taken their talents up into Georgia.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I do want to ask you one thing before we get into tornado football. You were talking about the Georgia passion.
Yeah.
Are there because hey, there is, and you know it as well as I know it. To me, I've been all around the United States, all around the world because I was in the service, and I grew up in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and Mississippi is passionate about their football as well as Alabama and Georgia and Florida. To me, though, this area, and even of course South Florida, you're talking about the bigger schools. To me, this is some of the best football in this area right here.
No question. This is South Georgia-esque.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're only a few miles from the border.
Right.
The people care just as much. There's no people don't care more in South Georgia.
Right.
It's just manifest in a different way. They're able to do so much more with the tax dollars. And that's a whole nother interview.
Right.
There's just so much, there's so much money. You go into South Georgia right now and there's indoor facilities, 100-yard indoor facilities popping up that they do to practice, just practicing football and things like that. That's the difference. There's no more passion there.
Right.
There's just so many more dollars that are allocated to in that state, particularly in that area, to sports, to high school sports. Right. And it's not just football, it's everything.
Right.
But football just has the most spin on because that's what brings the most. And I don't know what the reason it is. It's so much different, fiscally and money wise. I have no idea why that is. I have never looked into it. That's the biggest difference. The passion and for what people do in football in North Florida is second to none anywhere.
Right. And I agree. These guys have lived here all their lives, and they can tell you they are passionate about Florida high school football, Florida football, period. Yes. Whether it's the Gators, whether it's the Noles, whether it's Miami, whether it's whoever, they are very passionate about their football here. And I can tell you, you're exactly right. This is some of the best football in the country anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it can be matched talent-wise, the state of Florida to anywhere else.
Right.
I mean, there's tons of talent in South Georgia. When you start talking about the skill kids and even now linemen, used to be Florida was known for skill kids.
Right.
Now it's everything. I mean, this is just the hotbed of talent in the whole country. Everybody wants to get Florida kids on their roster.
Right. So, Mitchell?
Yeah, I know some of those South Georgia teams. You have the Pierce County Bears.
Yes.
Very, very good high school football team. And then you got the Wayne County Yellow Jackets there in Jessup. So I got family that lives in that area. So I know those teams and kind of follow up what they're doing.
I was almost a defensive coordinator at Wayne County, really close one time back when I first started. So, all those places. The money is, and I'm not talking about people being paid. The biggest difference is the school systems are able to do so much more.
Right.
So people ask me I've had this question 100 times since I've been back. What's the biggest difference? The biggest difference is my middle school coaches, every single one of them, made more money than I did as a head coach in Baker County. See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the whole middle school coach. That's the biggest difference.
Right.
You don't go, you're never going to go into a game where somebody's not prepared because they got some of the best coaching staffs that you can put together because the money allotment for the coaching staff is bigger than everywhere else. So naturally you talk about the Pruitts.
Right.
And as a young coach, when you start looking, and you start trying to build your profession and what you're doing, you start looking at that when you can go make, if you're a head coach in South Georgia, you make quadruple or 5 times what you can make here supplement wise,
Right.
down in Florida. I understand why everybody did it. I understand why people wanted to do it, but that doesn't make the passion here any less.
Right. And now just I can see it in your eyes and your face. Yo, you seeing that? You can just see that, man. There's just some fire there. Again, we got Coach Jamie Rodgers on. If you've got a question for the coach, hey, put it up on our comments column and we'll be able to get to it. Byron, do you have a question for the coach?
Well, Coach, I don't know if you want to get into this much or not, but from some of the game footage that I saw, you were running some power,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't run power in a while.
We run power a lot.
RPO,
RPO, run power often.
You better write that down in your
Oh
notes.
my goodness,
Yeah.
yes, and that's something that I really love to watch because I love old school football.
Yeah, me too.
I really do, and I'm glad to hear that. And it's something that's missing from high school sports and college sports now. We don't get to see that.
Yeah.
But when you bring a power package in on the goal line and there's only a yard, you're going to get that yard.
And here's the great thing. That's something that's even learned in the weight room starting in January. That's a mindset. We haven't even put our under center package in yet. We were completely, when you do what we do on offense, and we make you defend the 11th guy, the guy with the quarterback. We make you defend him. That's something I believe in. We're going to be in the shotgun a lot, right? Because he's another running back.
Right.
He's the 11th guy that they have to defend. But when it's 3rd and short and 4th and short, and we got to get in the end zone and things like that, we got to have first downs. You'll see us under center running power a lot.
Lighted your eyes up, didn't it?
Man, there is something about watching a fullback go through a hole and hitting a linebacker and knocking him on his rear end, and that running back just
waltzing into the end zone.
It's not the running back doesn't think it's the most spectacular thing in the world. That fullback has just done his job the way he should have and planted somebody in the ground. It just makes me smile. It's about like watching a linebacker hit a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, just decleat a quarterback, which you really can't do anymore. But I mean, there's just something about that.
Yeah. We talk about it a lot. When football's about imposing your will.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing that breaks a person's will quicker than somebody moving you where they want you to go and you not liking it.
Right.
And that's really all football is. Blocking, tackling, and that right there. You not quitting, your will against theirs. Somebody's going to break at some point. And hopefully it's not us.
Well, the one thing I like, Coach, is when you bring that power playing, is that it puts 7 men in the box. And since you're already in shotgun formation, play option, and you can throw it a pretty good ways down the field because even the safeties are playing up as well, trying to protect that run. And it just opens up another development.
That's what we believe in. Yeah, on offense, our belief is this. If you can run the ball when everybody knows you're trying to run it, then you're going to be able to throw it whenever you want to. That's kind of our philosophy. We want to be able to run the football, and that was a priority in the spring. That was from day one. When I watched the film, I watched every game film from last year, right? And a couple years over the last couple years, whatever. It's what coaches do when they get a job. They go back and look. And I just didn't think that we were in a position to run the ball when we wanted to. And you've got to be able to run the football when everybody in 4 minutes left and you're up by 6. You got to be able to run the ball and get 2 first downs and end the game. You just got to do it. And if you can't, you're going to struggle, right? So that's our goal, is to be able to run the football and play action off of it. We've got some great skill kids that I heard you mention earlier. They're really good football players, and they make you look like a really good coach. So we're going to get those guys the ball, and they balled in. They're great kids. Kids, this is the way it is, and it's every place in America. You hear a lot of, when you first get to a place, you hear this and that. No, the kids will live up to your expectations every single time if you lay out the expectations and you assign a little bit of accountability to it. Kids are going to they'll get up to the expectations, and they have. Our kids have done a great job since January.
I want to get to a couple of comments here. Billy Rayburn said Jamie is one hell of a coach. Feels like Coach Hurts and Coach Sexton back in the day.
That's a great compliment.
Yeah,
That's an unbelievable compliment to have somebody compare you to Coach Hurst.
Yeah, absolutely. So he did. Lorna Redis said, Coach Hart, do you remember a teacher named Jane Roden?
Oh, absolutely. Jane was my 7th grade math teacher.
Speaks very highly of you.
She's Miss Jane Roden's an unbelievable woman. She's poured into kids in Baker County for, I don't know how long. I think it was 7th grade. Could have been 8th grade maybe, but I'm pretty sure it was 7th grade. Yeah, she's a great woman.
Yeah, Billy, and thank you for that, Coach. I appreciate that. Billy said, what I seen the night at the Jamboree, he took control of the game. He's very old school, and I love it, as many other fans love it.
Old school means passionate, maybe.
Yeah, that old school means passionate.
But what a lot of people don't understand, and what I was really upset with that night, I try not to. And Brett Dobson, I know he's watching. That's my brother-in-law. He's on. He might say some of this a little bit different. I don't give referees a hard time. I don't. But what I do want out of them is consistency. And when you call, Trente Jenkins was a yard away from the quarterback, running full speed, and he had no chance to pull up, but he didn't helmet him.
No, he didn't.
And the 15-yarder was uncalled for. We got it called. They scored a touchdown. What I was upset about, people thought I was upset about, the receiver pushing off our DB. It wasn't that. That's football. That gets called sometimes. It doesn't.
Right.
I don't even know if you guys saw it. Their entire team ran onto the field like the Georgia Bulldogs did that year.
You remember that? I was wondering what was going on. Yes.
And that was what I was upset about.
Right.
Don't be two different ways for two different teams. You called a bang personal foul that kept the drive going on 3rd and long. And then you let the whole team run down and celebrate, not one flag come out. That's what I was upset about.
Sure.
That's all. It wasn't about football calls or anything like that.
Right.
I try not to. I know that's a hard job they got, and I appreciate it. We can't do anything without them. So I'll try to do better.
Melissa Cribbs, Melissa, she's been helping out with the Touchdown Club. We'll talk about that in a little bit. She said, since Coach Jamie has been here, Dakota, her son, has learned a lot from you and what you bring.
I appreciate that. That's a great compliment. We want our kids to do it the right way, and I'm sure we'll get into some of that here in just a little bit. But if the kids will, here's all I care about: they'll be better men one day, right? Because of some of the coaches. Let's don't get it misunderstood. You have to win nowadays. Yeah, you have to win or you lose your job.
You're right. You're right.
And it's not fair a lot of times, because if you got a group of kids that can't play dead in a Western. That's not fair.
Right.
As long as they're going out and being better citizens than they were, better husbands, better men, right? That's about all you can ask from a high school coach. But I understand what it is nowadays, and you do have to win. Fortunately, we got some really good players. So
yeah, we do.
That's right,
Coach. I was at the touchdown. I try to go to every one of them that I can, but we're all busy. Always got something going on. You told a story, and I don't know if we can get into it tonight, maybe on another show, about a player that you had over at was it Live Oak?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, where he came back to you. I guess he got in some kind of trouble.
Yep.
And I want to talk about that at some other point, because that story, after you told that, really hit my heart.
It might have been one of the kids. I try to keep, we try to be honest with them and tell them the real life stories of what's out there if you're undisciplined.
Yeah.
Right. And I had a couple kids that, one in particular that was incarcerated.
That's the story. That's the story.
Yeah, that's him. And if we got time to get into it, we can. If not, that's okay.
Yeah, let's tell the story real quick.
Let's go real quick. It was, it was one of kid. I got a call from my mom. This is probably 5-6 years after I coached him, right? And I got a call from my mom. I didn't know the number, so I happened to pick up, and she said, "Coach, can you go see such and such? He's in jail. He's locked up in Live Oak, and he's so hard. He doesn't care anything about. We will all go see him. His family members will go see him, and he's really struggling. And you're the guy I can think of to call." And so I said, "Sure, I'll come down and see him." I think I was in Baker. It was probably my last year in Baker in 2018. So I rode over and saw him. And right when I walked in, he started squalling, just uncontrollable crying, but had not been talking to his family members. And we had a great conversation that day. I did most of the talking. He did a lot more crying than anything else. So what we were able to accomplish that day. He's since gotten out, gotten a job, doing much better. I mean, obviously it's 3 or 4 years ago. Matter of fact, I need to check in on him and see how he's doing. But that's just the relationship built in this game, the game of football, right? And that's how important it is a lot of times for us. Sometimes we got to be a lot of different things, and coach is just one of them. Being really hard on, and we are hard on them. You come out to one of our practices, you come out to our games, we're really hard on the kids, but they understand why we're being hard on them. And that kid that day, he understood. I don't know why she called me. I don't have any idea, but he broke that day for whatever was going on. And I think he was a little bit embarrassed when I walked through there. He had no idea I was coming.
I was just going to say, yeah.
He had no idea I was coming. And when I sat in that chair, he lost it for an hour straight. And I just sat there and talked to him like I would talk if it was my son back there, right? So,
Right.
And that's just, that's just one of the stories. And that there's tons of those. And I just want our kids to be better people when they leave.
That's a great story.
I believe all those principles that you put in that young man when he was playing football came out that day.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope
When
so.
he seen you.
Yeah. It'll be the same way for me if one of my coaches, there's so many of them that are the reason why I'm sitting here. There's a lot of those guys out there. And if they walked in and saw me, I would have had the same reaction that he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have been disappointed that he was disappointed.
Right.
And that's that. And if that's the relationship, if that's what it takes, I'm good with that.
I gotcha. Again, we got Coach Jamie Rodgers on, new Tornado football coach here. Let's talk about the game here and what's going on over the summer. And we'll talk a little schedule here as well. And, of course, we're going to have you back on several times, trying to get a coach show up, by the way, so we can start that each and every week here as the season starts.
Do we have an update for the spring game?
Oh, you mean the pre? Do you have an update on
Yes.
the kickoff classic?
Yeah, it was a real struggle. And, we put out, we've had FHSA has a classified section where you can go and try to find games. And
Right.
I mean, we're talking 4, 5, 6 hours away. I wasn't interested in that, for a kickoff classic. And so we were looking at not having one, which was definitely not what we want to do. I would have scrimmaged that week,
Sure.
against each other, but I didn't want to do that. And Bobby Ramsey, good friend of mine in the business, won a state championship at Mandarin a couple years ago in 8A. He's over at a place called it's left me, First Christian Academy. It's a private school that had been playing 8-man football, but with him there, they're going to get better kids. Right? Everybody understand what we're talking about here?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
They're not. I will find the name of the school here in just a minute.
Okay.
But we were going to play over there at their place.
Okay. So it's going.
We will be away that week, and it's. I'll find the name of the school here. It slipped me, but it's. We will be playing them, so we do have a game here in We'll be in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
All right. So there you go.
I definitely needed.
Byron's going to get his feet wet, coach, that night. Collins,
man, I've already called a playoff game.
Well, you're going to get your feet more wet before we have to go over to Baker County, which we're fixing to get into here in just a few minutes. Anyway, so we do have a kickoff classic game. Coach will find out and let us know.
Impact Christian Academy.
Impact
Christian Academy.
Okay,
That's what Bobby Ramsey's head coach.
Okay. So Billy Rayberg says this. Reginald Dick says, don't talk them Bulldogs. Okay. Billy Rayberg says, my prediction for the first game will be Baker County 13, Bradford County 42. Okay. Billy, yep. Tell him, Coach, to get on his hands a little bit.
I hope Billy's right.
I hope Billy's right.
I hope Billy's right. I hope Billy's right, too,
right.
because I have lots of bad memories from that
Yeah. Want to get into the spring game a little bit. When you came in, I think you knew what you were sort of getting into as far as, like you said, our skill players, the kids that we got in skill positions. I've been doing this now. Of course, I watched Tornado football most of the time since I've been here. And then, of course, been doing the play-by-play ever since the great Terry Vaughn left. Yep. By the way, what a voice. That guy could call a football game. Him and Rick Craig, they could do it. Me and Kevin wound up getting a job. So for 7 years, I'm used to seeing playoff football.
Yep.
Been to the playoffs each and every year. So I've been blessed with that and what you have been left in the cupboard. But you had mentioned something earlier in our conversation about power football and running the football. I always thought, and when I've seen it, our Achilles heel, if we had one, is the size of the offensive line.
Sure.
And I thought there was times there where, like you said, we could have got a couple of first downs that we could have won a game,
Sure.
and it goes back and forth, and I get it. And it seemed like our offensive line kept getting smaller and smaller, again, to me. Is that something that you're still facing? And if so, what is the remedy to correct it?
Well, and it's not just here. This is in several places. And,
Right.
We're what we got enrollment wise, 730, 735, somewhere in
Somewhere
like
in
that.
that, right.
We're right in that range. So just by that, if half of them are boys, you're talking about 350, right? And then you just talking about size. I mean, that's really up to, there's a couple things. DNA
Yeah.
of the parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if those guys that have the size, been blessed with the size, are willing to get out there and put the work in.
Right.
That's really what it boils down to. I'll walk the halls of a lot of places where I'll go up and speak to a kid and say, hey, I mean, God didn't give everybody 6'3", 290 pounds.
No. Right.
You can
Right.
really do some things if you'll get in the weight room, do this, do this, do this. And I've been told 50% of the time, not interested, coach. I'm not into contact. All right. I'm good. Okay. Well, that's not for you then.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of that. And I don't know why that is. It seems to happen more with bigger kids than it does with smaller kids.
Right.
They're afraid they're going to hurt somebody.
That could be it at sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And especially growing up, like if they're in Little League, if they've been told that not to go full speed or whatever the case may be, you get frustrated by stuff like that. And I don't know what it is. I do know this: big guys are like playing in our program. I do know that because we like to feature them and talk about. And listen, I've seen some big, ugly dudes get good-looking girlfriends from playing
Absolutely.
football. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's another pitch. I'll be like, hey,
Yeah.
girls will start talking to you in the hallways if you.
Yeah.
So, we joke about it a lot. It is what it is. It's usually about the tenacity. I've had guards play for me over the years in Swanee, not in Baker so much because I was blessed to. I mean, our kids were really big. I mean, we averaged probably 6'3", 285, 290 pounds across the line that year or those couple of years. Really, really good football players too. A lot of them went on to play college football. But at the other places, it's about grit. We've had several 200-pound linemen.
Right.
A 200-pound lineman that's a 320 bencher that gets on your hips, he can block you just as good as a big guy can, right? And especially if he'll keep going full speed every time. And that's what it's about. You got to get the guys that are best fit. There's a kid the other night. I usually don't call a lot of names unless I'm asked, about a special performer or something like that. But we got a kid named Dayton Roberts that's a ninth grader that is going to play both ways a lot. And I don't know if he's going to be a varsity starter or not immediately. I know he did for us the other night at guard.
Yes, he did.
And I know he played as good as anybody.
Yes, he did.
And that's tenacity, heart, wanting to do it, unselfishness, loving the guys running the ball behind you and wanting to do what it can. That's really all it's about when it comes right down to it is as hard as you can. If a smaller guy, 215, 220 pounds, will go full speed with great technique, I got no problem playing those guys.
He just said the magic word: technique and leverage.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, because you can move people
It's
that are
football.
bigger than you.
Blocking and tackling.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed the other night, Coach, and Byron got a chance to watch replays. He had to work, but Mitchell was with me on the broadcast. We also actually had an ex-tornado. You remember Jeremiah Vaughn?
I remember the name. I do remember the name.
Yeah, I tell you, legitimate 4-4 for sure. No doubt about it. Still probably that quick. But anyway, he was up there helping me commentate the game. And he noticed something, and I noticed it too. I noticed that you want to call it small or young offensive line, was opening up some big holes for those running backs. And we were running the ball down their throat on several occasions.
We've the guy that calls the plays for us, David May. He's our offensive line coach, our head offensive line coach, and he does a lot with the H-backs and the tight ends.
Right.
Tyler Stevens is a lot with the interior guy. Tyler played for me in Live Oak. He's been an addition to our staff. And then David coached with me in Live Oak in my years there before he went on to be a offensive coordinator down in Williston and some other places. Having those two guys, one thing about offensive line coaches, right? Offensive linemen a lot of times really don't like them at practice, right? And it's kind of this way, but they love those guys. They love these two football coaches, and they'll play hard for you. Right. And so we're really fortunate to have them here and to have those young kids with them early.
Right.
They've got tremendous buy-in already from everybody that plays offensive line. Offensive line's about wanting to be selfless, right? And that's what it's all about, and that's what they're taught. So all that you're right about the offensive line play. I thought that was a huge bright spot for us. The way they got after it.
Yes.
They were outsized probably 60, 70, 80 pounds.
Absolutely.
Per player at times.
Yes.
That doesn't matter when you got grit.
No, it doesn't. And they was opening up holes. I'm telling you. How many times did I say? A couple of times you could run a Mack truck through that hole.
Yeah.
And, hey, Covey and the boys ran through that hole.
Yeah.
And I tell you, really, really good rushing game. Also, I thought you mixed in the pass style really well. Dejan throwing a couple of nice passes there to a couple of our wideouts, like you said, that are great skill players. But the defense, man, my gosh. Is that just a carryover from last year? And they're even better this year.
I can tell you what those guys do. They talk about wanting to be a part of a really good defense. So we talked day one in spring. We're not going to judge ourselves by how many points we give up. We're going to judge ourselves by how many first downs we give up, right? And so they've kind of bought into that a little bit. 11 hats to the ball. I got a picture I can show you guys all. I mean, I know everybody. I'm going to get it blown up, and I'm going to put it in our matter of fact, I will let you see it. 11 hats to the ball. We preach that every day. You're no good to the defense if you're standing around over waiting on something. You're only valuable to us if you're around the ball, making a tackle, putting a hat on somebody. That's something that's preached every day. Turnovers were big the other night. I think we had back-to-back plays where we had a turnover.
Right.
We do it every day. Turnover drills every single day. Turnover circuit every day in practice. So it's good to see, and it's also good for them to feel it. Hey, everything we work on in practice is exactly what happened tonight in the game. Right. And there was a ton of that stuff that happened the other night. It was awesome. And we've got a lot of momentum rolling from that spring game into the summer. We've averaged at least 65 kids for the first 6 days of summer workouts. Hey, and listen, I've had to run a bus. A lot of places where I've been, I haven't had to run a bus one single time or I pick one kid up every day. Another coach, I think, brings one other kid. He stops by and gets him so he don't have to walk so far. But everybody else is there. They're showing up, getting rides, riding with each other, walking, whatever it takes. We've averaged 65 for the first 6 days of workouts. And it's not easy. It's hot out there right now.
Wow. Yes, it is.
We've got a lot of buy-in.
So a lot of 90-degree days coming up.
Yes.
Are y'all going 2 days right now?
2 days are kind of, they won't let us stay.
They won't let you do that. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have worded it that way.
Well, you have to have so many hours break and this and that. And listen, we don't want to see kids injured.
No, not at all.
Or, we've had, in the last 20 years, there's no telling how many kids have passed away.
Yes.
From negligent coaching and, pushing kids too hard. I mean, there's certain signs you don't pass. Right. You get the kid where he needs to be, cooled off, whatever. If you've got common sense about it, it's pretty easy. And, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes they had a medical condition that nobody knew anything about.
Right.
And that happens too. And that's unfortunate. But, you got to, if you want to see the results you want to see, you got to work hard in the summer. That's all there is to it.
Gotcha. Hey, Coach, I'm glad that you can join us today. I'd like to, I'm going to get to a couple of those comments Mitchell in just a second. I know it's getting about that hour and that time. I know Mitchell's got somewhere to go. Before we go,
yes,
can you come on next Tuesday?
Yeah, sure.
Can you come on? Let's finish this. Let's do a part 2. Michael, you all right with that? Byron? Hey, we're going to do a part 2 to this, ladies and gentlemen, because we got started a little bit late tonight. We had some other things going on. Coach was here on time, ready to go. We ran our mouth a little bit, but great so far. I want to do a part 2 interview. My director says it's okay, so we're good to go. Same time again next week, Coach.
I'll be here.
And let's finish this. I want to get into the schedule some. I want to get into several players and just your forecast of what you see coming up. Bailey said, and we can answer this next week. I'll give you something to go on. Okay. Tom Bailey said, what does Coach Rodgers think about private schools being put in their own classification? Okay.
That's
Something
something
next week? Yeah, we can answer that next week.
Oh yeah, I got a lot.
The wing tee held small offensive lines, he says.
Yep, it has many.
And I
times.
seen a variation of that the other night, Coach.
What are you talking about? That box that he was running?
I ain't saying nothing. He can say that.
I'm sorry. I should not have said that.
We held some stuff close to the best the other night. We didn't run buck sweep very much.
No.
We didn't run a lot. We didn't run our counter play with the wing
Right.
coming back. I mean, a lot of that's wing tee principle,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And, it's just a little newer school version of it, kind of. And like I said, we ain't even went under center yet.
Right.
At all.
You know, you were talking about Coach Hurst and his teams, the 65 and 66 team. Billy said the whole team was about an average of 165 pounds
That's right.
and won the state championship 2 years in a row. So what you just say, heart, grit,
That's grit.
integrity, hey, it'll get it done. Your mom's on, by the way.
Yeah,
Hello, Miss Shirley. How you
Mom.
doing? Glad to see you. I know I'm going to be seeing you real soon, and Chuck Wilson's watching as well. Coach, thanks a lot.
Yes,
I
sir.
know I hate to cut this off, man. I can talk for hours.
I was about to say we could sit.
We
here
can
and do
sit
this for
here.
the next 2 or 3 hours.
But we're going to bring him back on next week, and same time, same bat channel. And, of course, we'll probably have Dave Holland back, and we'll have all our graphics. If not, Mitchell Gunner will be sitting in. That's for sure. Michael, you got anything that you want to ask Coach really quick before we go?
No, he hit all the primary things that I was talking about here. I'm excited to see what we have in store for next Tuesday night.
Yeah, and I do want to talk Tornado Touchdown Club because that's big
Sure.
on what we need help with
It
and
is.
some things.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to hit up on that. You anything really quick for the coach?
No, I'm just really happy what I saw on the field the other night when y'all played. The discipline. We've had so many things in the past that cost us football games because of the yellow hankies coming out, and a lot of it was just stuff that shouldn't have never happened, like a hold totally across the other side of the field, way from the play. You know, those type of things shot us in the foot a lot, and I'm glad that the kids are trusting in you and the other coaches, listening to y'all and learning discipline.
One thing about flags is they've learned pretty quickly with me is I take that personally. I call penalties on them at practice, and we run for it at practice. If I see you do something that was going to get us a penalty in a game during practice or one of our scrimmages or even if it's just in a single play, if I think it was egregious to the point of where a penalty flag would have gone home, we'll run for that at practice. So if it's important to me, it'll be important to them.
Martin, anything?
He answered most of my questions.
Yeah.
And you know what box I was talking about.
Yeah, I know.
You know how
Yeah.
many people actually know what that is
Oh, yeah.
out there?
There, probably none. Maybe a few. But anyway, Coach, thank you for joining us. We're going to do part 2 next week. Ladies, don't forget, Coach Jamie Rodgers will be on with us next week. Part 2 of this, get into some other things. Again, I want to talk a little bit about the schedule, some of the players that we had coming back that you guys heard of last year that will be returning as well. Want to talk a little bit about the Touchdown Club and some of the things that we're trying to get gathered up for that and to make and to help Coach Rodgers really make his job a lot easier so he can coach the kids and let us worry about what we need to get for him to be able to help him out. So hoping to talk about that next week as well. Real quick, the weather.
Yeah, real quick. Let's
do the weather.
Let's say before we jump into the graphics, real quick. I had somebody message me during the show, wanted to give you a heads up on here. Now, satellites are showing that there's a small area of low pressure that's forming down in the Caribbean Sea. Don't get too worked up over it. It could become a tropical depression over the next 48 hours, but my guess is that it's probably going to move over Nicaragua and Honduras. Not going to be any threat to us. Chance of development 30 to 40%. Again, don't get too worked up over it. The big concern we have is the heat. And we can show you that. First, well, I'll tell you what. The heat index is the big thing here. You can see the graphic. 106-degree heat index in Chicago. That matches the number right there in Jacksonville. Just above it, 109 degrees expected tomorrow in Charleston, South Carolina. That is what our big concern is going to be. If there's a good part to that is that we've hit that time of year when the pollen is not that big of a deal. And those pollen numbers are actually staying relatively low. We're looking at numbers topping out at a 4.6 Thursday and Friday, dropping off again on Saturday. I don't get too worked up over those numbers, though. Again, the dust has settled from the Saharan desert. Of course, that's going to give us a little bit more tropical development. We'll work on that as we go along. Regional forecast as we start to run out of breath. We're looking at high pressure building over the southeastern United States. Highs in the upper 90s. Heat indexes pushing 105 to 108 across the entire region. Charleston again at 109 is expected for tomorrow. For us locally, we're looking at 96 degrees in Stark. A chance of late day storms similar to what we had today, but the chance of rain decreases as we make our way towards the end of the week. Basically, you need to make sure that you stay hydrated, make sure you stay in the shade as much as possible, protect yourself, protect your elderly parents, protect your pets, and be ready just in case. That is the latest from Austin's Weather Service. David, we're throwing it back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Great weather report. Again, I want to thank Coach Jamie Rodgers for coming on, new head coach over at Bradford High School for our Tornadoes, our beloved Tornadoes, as we like to call it. Got a big-time fan base here that's very passionate. Coach, we'll talk a little bit about that next week as well. I think you know some of the people that I'm talking about. We all do, so for sure. Byron, hopefully you can be here next week with us as well. Hopefully the work thing will ease off. But on behalf of Byron Bagwell, Mr. Michael Heater, Mr. Mitchell Gunner, and the missing Dave Holland, my name is David Rodgers. I'm your host. God bless you guys. Don't forget, On the Spot Motorsports with Mitchell Gunner tomorrow night, as he's got a special guest, 7 o'clock, right? Mike, Mitchell's still 7 o'clock. Yep. Don't worry about the music because Mitchell has got us a little tune going out. God bless you guys. Have a great night. There you go. Go Tornadoes, part 2 next week.